Greetings, boys and girls. And since it's Christmas, today I am the Grinchy old man. How does that sound? Does that work? Grumpy, Grinchy, same thing. First of all, the Grinchy old man is going to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays. I'm too goddamn old to be politically correct. So, now with that out of the way, I have a question. And the problem is, the only way it can get answered, because my dumbass still can't figure out how to turn on comments. And I'm not talking comments on the chat. I'm talking, under the video where people leave comments. Somehow mine got turned off. And no matter what I do, I can't turn them back on. I've gone through all the YouTube tutorials. And I wish they had a tech service number. Now, maybe they do, and I haven't been able to find it. Because if I could call them and have somebody walk me through it, first of all, they were on originally, and somehow they got turned off. So when you watch a video on YouTube, you can't leave a comment underneath it. And I'll be damned if I can figure out how to turn it back on. So, in order to answer my question, you're going to have to leave your response on Facebook. And the question is, and this is an argument that I have been having for years, because somewhere along the line, Dale got it through his thick skull that the adult, now he's, 38, he's an adult, but the senior adult must speak first. Now, I don't get a good morning or a hello or a kiss my ass unless he has something to bitch about. But he'll walk right frickin' past me and not say a word because I am supposed to speak first. Okay? So, I did not get a Merry Christmas, although I didn't expect one because there's been a running argument going on here for weeks now. But had there been peace, I would not have gotten a Merry Christmas unless I spoke to him first. And I told him, no. The adult does not have to speak first. And this goes back to when he was a teen. I says the child speaks to the parent first. So This is the argument that, like I say, has been going on for years. He will not speak to me unless I speak to him first. So there's times here that days go by that there's no communication between us whatsoever. None. He walks past me like I fucking don't exist. And what I've tried to tell him is one day I won't. One day there will be an empty chair, an empty bed. Well, Boots will be in the bed, although he'll dump my cat in a heartbeat. There's my goofy hair. I can't wait to get the other headphones. They have a different. Everything is different about them. Of course, they're not cheapy, eBay $10. These are expensive, professional headphones. I can't wait to get them. So that's the way my day started. I mean, he must have walked past me 12 times. I'm used to it. You know what? At this age, it ain't worth it, boys and girls. It just I don't care anymore. I'm getting too old to have a goddamn daily fucking argument. So I know what the response is going to be, but I would like, in case he goes into my Facebook page and happens to read, but it still won't get through. Whoever responds, he'll say, "Yeah, they don't know what the hell they're talking about." So I adjusted this mic down a little bit more. So if it's loud, I apologize. These mics are really sensitive, really sensitive. And I changed the spatial acoustic adjustment. So because like I said, it's got 4 adjustments. One is direct. 2 is a person, say, sitting across from me. 3 would be a group of people sitting around the microphone, and 4 would be like in an auditorium. And the mic would pick up, say somebody ask a question from the audience. So I made a different adjustment, and I'm going to have to inform Dale that I had to fire the maid and the butler because I couldn't afford them anymore. And that's me. I have to fire myself. And I guess I go back to blaming myself because instead of doing like my parents did to me, if I spilled something and I didn't wipe it up, I got grabbed by the back of the neck and get in there and clean that kitchen. Well, I have to follow around him like he's a little kid. I go out in the kitchen and, there's a big coffee ring on the counter because when he stirred his coffee, it splashed over. So I got to wipe the counter. And then, in the bathroom sink, he trims his beard, and there's frickin' trimmings all over the place. And his hands are too dainty to do dishes, you know. He just brings them down and dumps them in the pan for, you know, the old man to take care of. But it's Christmas today, and enough. Enough. Uh, there's bits and pieces in my last 3 or 4 videos. If you go through them, you'll get everything will be understood if you go through all the videos, because there's bits and pieces as to what I go through. I'll tell you what. I don't know, and I didn't experience it last year, but I seem to get worse dry mouth the older I get. And I don't understand why. You know, I mentioned it to my doctor, my ENT, and you know, he said everything looks normal, but I just, you know, I have a quart jug that I keep on my nightstand, and either I've got iced tea or I'm on a ginger ale kick now. Uh, because you know, during the night, God, I'll, you know, first of all, I got nasty insomnia, so I don't get deep sleep. I like doze off and then I wake back up. When I wake up, my mouth is like the frickin' Gobi Desert, you know. So I need to, of course, you know, that works against me. You know, you cure the dry mouth and then you're running, you know, you get the typical old age, you're in and out of the bathroom all night. But I don't know, maybe it's been this way. Maybe I'm just noticing it more. But I told you I was attempting to test my snowball microphone, my Blue Yeti snowball. You know, this one. Unfortunately, when I got it, I immediately misplaced the owner's manual. I don't know what the hell I did with it. But thank God for, it's not manuals online, it's something. This manual outfit has a manual for everything. I think I could probably get a manual for the first, you know, Titan rocket that was ever built. So I looked this up, and you can either print it or download it as a PDF. So I downloaded the manual. Now they only make, it's not like, you know, they make different versions of this. They make the Nano, which is about half the size. They make this, and it comes either in white or black. So I'm reading the manual, okay? And it says above the USB plug is a 3-position switch. And you have the adjustment, like number 1 would be direct. Number 2 would be front and back. Number 3 is for instrumentation. Like if you're playing an accordion or a guitar. So I pull the mic out. Do you see a switch? Now, I thought this little arrow, I thought maybe you turned this. No. Luckily, there were a couple of manuals. So I went down through them, and they make a version of this, and it has a switch right here, a 3-position switch. I don't know how I ended up with one without a switch. And to make matters worse, a friend of mine who has been sending me, he sent me this microphone. I got this from it was in that second. Remember, I told you I got 2 boxes of microphones and equipment. Well, this was in the bottom of box number 2. Well, my buddy who sent me this had one of these. And he said, I sent it to you. I said, does yours have a switch? He said, no, there's no switch on it. Same thing. There's nowhere to plug in headphones. So now I'm going to have 2 of these. With no switch. So the ones without the switch, is it set for frontal? Is it set for dual? Or is this set for acoustic? I'm going to, plus, it says you have to go into your computer and add this microphone. I don't have any. I put this microphone on YouTube. Before you go live, there is an adjustment. There's some drop-down boxes that have camera, and a drop-down box will come in, and it said Blue Yeti stereo mic, which that's what this is. When I plugged this one in the other day, and it says basically when the mic has power activated, this little red light comes on top. So I had it plugged in, the red light came on, the drop-down box came on, and it said Yeti Snowball. I had no audio. So now I got to figure out, do I have to enter this into my computer? I'd like to hear how this thing sounds, and I think it's kind of cool, especially if I got a bracket. And how the hell do you get it to work? I give up. I don't know. It's the first microphone that I've had that I don't know how the hell to work it. And I still have to get over to Studio A because I haven't done a sound check with my stereo mics that I got. Now those microphones have to go through a mixer and an interface, where these microphones are strictly what they call plug and play. You plug it into the computer and you get the drop down box on YouTube. Click, ding, bang, dot. Can't even keep a cigarette lit. Now I know they put that chemical in so that basically it don't burn down to the filter, you know. I've had that happen many times. Light a cigarette, start doing something, and you go to pick this and smoke it, and it's done. I was amazed when I went outside today. This is the first Christmas I can't remember back when that it's 56 degrees right now and sunny. I don't ever remember a Christmas being this warm. And they're saying tomorrow is going to be like 62 degrees and sunny. All I got to say is thank God for global warming. I wouldn't complain if the whole winter was like this. The other day, you can't make people fucking happy. The other day, I'm in the store, and there was a woman behind me complaining that we didn't have any snow. And she says, "Ah, Christmas just isn't Christmas without snow." And I'm thinking, you're insane, lady. So I turned around and I says to her, "You still have a chance." And she goes, "Yeah, I know, Christmas isn't here yet." I said, "You didn't let me finish." I said, "You still have a chance to book a flight to Antarctica." "Oh, it's not Christmas unless there's snow." Then rent a goddamn snow machine from a ski resort. Jesus. And then, if it ended up we had like 3 feet of snow, she'd be bitching like, "Oh my God, look at all this goddamn snow." If you want snow that bad, you can go to Alaska and go out to the mountain ranges because there's snow for as far as the eye can see and as deep as you want it. Jesus. I had a friend that lived in California, and he was from here. And he says, where I'm at, it never snows. But he says, if I drive 50 miles to the mountains on Christmas morning, I can have as much snow as I want. And that's what he did. Every year on Christmas, they would load all their gifts into the back of the car. and then they would drive up to the mountains, and they would find an area where there would be a pine tree. And he brought a small generator, and they would wrap the pine tree with lights and start the generator, and the lights would come on, and they would put some heavy they'd put a tarp down and some heavy blankets, and they would celebrate Christmas in the mountains in snow. And then after they opened all their gifts, they gathered everything back up and drove home to the warm weather. God, I couldn't believe this one. Oh, it's not going to be Christmas without snow. Then, go to Greenland, go to Antarctica, book a flight, go to Alaska. Frontier Airlines is probably running Christmas specials. You fly up to Alaska, cause an avalanche. There, you got snow. I know I'm just rambling on, but it's Christmas. And the Grinchy old man gets to ramble on. Because, it's very easy. There's that little button in the lower left-hand corner. If you don't like what the Grinchy old man is saying, you click that button and it stops. And then you can go to the right column and select whatever you want to watch. It's not like I've got 500,000 subscribers. I think I'm at 27 and holding. Although a friend of mine said, tell people to like and subscribe. Every YouTube site says, subscribe, like and subscribe, people get tired of hearing it. If someone wants to subscribe to the grumpy old man, they can click subscribe. I would like to get to 30 at least. I mean, I've been holding at 27 for almost a year now. So if I can get 3 more people, you'll make the Grinchy old man happy at Christmas. Okay, we finished the smoke. We're getting dry mouth. I got to take another slug of coffee here. Now I like good coffee. But at the price of coffee, I buy what's on sale. And lately, I've been drinking the same coffee my grandfather drank, chock full of nuts. He loved that coffee. He wouldn't drink any other coffee. As a matter of fact, it was funny because as you went into the West Side Market, there was a newsstand. And it was a combination newsstand and like smoke shop. The guy carried cigarettes and pipe tobacco because back in the day, pipes were big. My grandfather smoked a pipe. Sometimes he smoked a cigar, but most of the time he smoked a pipe. And Johnny was the guy's name. He was about the same age as my grandfather. It was well, he had a percolator over in the corner behind the counter. And he knew my grandfather would come and hang around and read the paper, and so Johnny would make a pot of chock full of nuts coffee. So my grandfather could have a cup of coffee while he stood there and chatted with him and read the paper. And this was a daily thing. Well, the market was open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But with my grandfather just living about a block and a half from the market, he would walk down Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday in the morning, at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And no, he could afford a paper, but it was a funny thing, because Johnny said, "Yeah, just come here to read the paper and get a free cup of coffee." But my grandfather, he liked those detective magazines. He'd buy magazine, but of course, he would not only read the Plain Dealer, he would read the Wall Street Journal. Not all of it, certain section, but it was funny as hell because we'd come in, because he'd pick me up mainly if I was in school on Saturday mornings. And soon as my grandfather walked in, Johnny was pouring him a cup of coffee. And he knew my grandfather took half and half on his coffee, and he always made sure he had half and half. You know, it's times like that, little things like that, that I miss because everybody nowadays is in a goddamn hurry, and God forbid the battery would die on their cell phone. I think if the battery died, they'd have heart failure and they'd keel over because people can't get off their goddamn cell phones. You know, I have mine in my pocket all the time. But if this phone rings and I'm in the car or I'm grocery shopping, it has a voicemail feature. If it's that important, leave a message. I will check it as soon as I get out of the store or if I stop the car. But I see people, they're driving in, they're on their phone, they get out of the phone, they do all their grocery shopping, and there's nothing more ignorant than to not stop your conversation when you're at the register. I was like 2 weeks ago, I was at the post office, and there was this woman in front of me. And of course, there was a line, we're waiting for our turn. And it comes her turn, and the clerk is, "I'll help you down here," and she's blah, 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 on her phone, and it was hilarious because there were, like, 7 or 8 people behind me, and it was almost like there was a conductor that waved the wand because everybody said, "Get off the phone!" She never got off the phone. She continued talking, got up to the counter, paid for her stamps or whatever she was doing, and out the door she went and never missed a beat. People, phone calls aren't that damn important that you can't pause one. Like I say, phones come with voicemail. Your phone call isn't life or death. And then about a month ago, I'm shopping and this woman's looking at her phone and she's not talking, she's just looking at her phone, and I happened to glance over her shoulder, and she was looking inside her refrigerator. I'm like, "You couldn't make a list?" I now I knew some of the higher grade refrigerators have cameras in them, but it's the first time I ever saw somebody looking in their refrigerator on their cell phone. And, there's a lot of refrigerators nowadays. I I I I I don't pay attention to appliances because I don't need any right now. But there's some refrigerators that actually have monitors built in them. You can either watch TV or be on your computer, and it's inside your refrigerator door. I, I I'm speechless, and for me, that's rare. But with that, I've been, oh my God, 36 minutes rambling on, complaining, bitching. But people, anybody that's watching this, have a Merry Christmas from the Grinchy old man. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.